Hey, it's Ephruz, and I got called out on Reddit because when I published my FC750R review with MX Silent Reds, I was told that all of my reviews have linear switches or tactile switches in the videos. So I've decided to get an FC750R with MX Blues, share my thoughts on them, and try and compare them, see how I place them compared to other switches. Now, this isn't a new keyboard. There's no tape. It's already been boxed. It's already been opened. I've been using the keyboard for quite a bit. So this isn't like anything new. This isn't me touching a switch and giving my opinion on it. I've been using it for a while. So it comes with everything you already know. It comes with keyboard cover. Open these flaps. Cable. Spare space bar, which is supposed to be optimized for the layout that was in the FC200R. Half-stepped caps lock, keycap puller, USB PS2 adapter, and instruction manual, which is under the keyboard. So let's put this over here. And this is the keyboard. Now, the FC750R, like I said in my last review, is the best keyboard you can get without modifying any switches, or I mean any keycaps, getting a different cable, modifying the construction of the case itself, any of that. This is one of the best keyboards you can get that offers everything. Has PVT keycaps, 1.5 millimeters thick, front pitted legends, so those legends should be lasting nearly forever. Now, the thing that's different about this, and I've used an FC750R with Reds, and I've used an FC750R with Silent Reds, is that I noticed when you use this keyboard, MX Blues hide a lot of flaws that you typically have with keyboards. So when I was using the one with Silent Reds, I could really notice how much more noise the stabilizers made than the switches. However, the switch, because of the click on MX Blues, hides... It kind of hides the stabilizer, not as much on the spacebar, but on the modifiers you can definitely tell a difference. I'm sorry, I mean you can't really tell a difference. The only real big sound difference that you hear between each key is that because these are larger keys, they're going to make thockier noises because they have a larger area under them to absorb and bounce sound. So, MX Blues, I've noticed, compared to every board I've used, only heavy switches, heavy linear and heavy tactile switches like Zelios or Gateron Yellows, Gateron Blacks, are the only switches that come even close to MX Blues in terms of how quickly I type on them. So I vouch for the fact that MX Blues are definitely a typist's keyboard. I make a lot less errors simply because I can hear the actuation, not even necessarily because I feel the tactile bump, because I do type so hard that I don't really feel the bump when I'm focusing on trying to type as quickly as possible when I'm doing something like Type Racer or something like that. So this is something that has made me very happy to try out an MX Blue board, simply because this MX Blue board, and MX Blues in general, unlike any other switch I've tried, have helped me understand what my flaws are in my typing on certain keyboards. It has helped me understand what my favorite switch is even more than I already did. So I would say, if you haven't tried MX Blues, try MX Blues. It might actually help you understand, if you still prefer linear or tactiles, which linears and what weight, or which tactiles what weight you prefer. I've learned that lighter linear switches are definitely not my cup of tea. I type extremely slow on them. I make a lot of mistakes when gaming as well. It's just something that comes with the lightness of the switch. So I'm going to do a quick sound test where I type something that I'm getting from a Reddit post that I had made in the past. So let's do that. So the keyboard definitely does make a lot more noise than any other board you're going to try. And I noticed that I heard some pinging when I was pressing the spacebar. That wasn't. I had this keyboard on a long mouse pad while I was using it, and I did not notice this pinging. So I find it kind of strange that I hear it now that it's just on a desk. So overall, in terms of MX Blues in general, I would say I rank them right now behind 45 and 55 gram Topra and behind Gateron Yellows in terms of my preferred switch for a keyboard. I'm going to be trying out other switches in the future. I would say I prefer the MX Blues over Gateron Blacks. I prefer MX Blues over MX Reds and Browns. Oh, one more thing that's I think is important. In gaming, I've heard some concerns that because MX Blues have a click and you have to pass the click, which blocks the upstroke a little bit, it is a little slower when gaming. But personally, I didn't notice in games. I definitely don't have a problem pressing keys or multi-tapping a key to try and spam or anything like that. And in Osu, I definitely had no issues streaming or anything like that. Now, I don't stream 200 plus BPM anymore, simply because I haven't been playing the game as much. But even on like 180, 190, I didn't really have an issue. So if you played Osu, but did if Osu was your primary game and you were looking at a mechanical keyboard, and you like MX Blues for typing, don't be afraid to just use an MX Blue board as your daily driver. Don't worry about getting like an MX Red numpad or anything like that. I mean, even at the very highest level of play, you see Osu players with MX Blue switches. So that takes care of that. Now, one thing I want to mention though is that if you're going to get an MX Blue board, get an FC750R or something with similar build quality to an FC750R. And I used an IKBC C87 keyboard that had MX Blues, and I had issues with the consistency of MX Blues on that board. Some of them almost felt like linear switches. Now the FC750R, by comparison, is very consistent. So get a board from somebody that you can trust to have consistent batches. This is what prevented me from getting a Race 3 with MX Blues and instead getting an FC750R with MX Blues. Because Vortex and IKBC are the same company, I was worried about inconsistent switches, especially since I had seen other reviews where the Race 3 had inconsistent switches on the clickies. So, clickies, they're good. Just as good as heavier tactiles or heavier linears, but I'm still not going to be using MX Blues as my daily driver. I'm probably going to keep using Gateron Yellows. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.